Jersey Girl, the first Kevin Smith feature film not set in the View-Askew universe. Still has some of the same actors like Ben Affleck and George Carlin though. It's also his first film to get a PG-13 rating and did not do very well back in 2004. It barely broke even, at least when just taking production costs. With promotion costs, it probably is a bomb, and reviews were mixed. It didn't even seem to get the cult following Mallrats did. It just sort of got forgotten. And you know what? That's a shame because this movie's actually pretty good. Ben Affleck stars as Ollie Trink, a media publicist in New York City, who's very good at his job. He marries a woman named Gertie, played by Jennifer Lopez, but unfortunately she dies during childbirth. In his grief and stress from being a single parent, he messes up an important press conference and gets himself fired. Now he has to deal with raising a daughter while working a blue-collar job. So this is one of those movies I had not seen before I decided to do this. I had heard it was kind of cliche, a bit schmaltzy, and kind of lame. And while it does deal with a lot of cliches and can lay on the cheese a little bit, I honestly thought this movie was pretty solid. For one, it's funny. It definitely has less comedy in it than most of his other films. We're in Chasing Amy territory, but honestly, I thought this was better than Chasing Amy. Certainly funnier. The opening scene alone with the kids talking about their families had me in stitches. I like his friend Arthur, played by Jason Briggs. He got some good laughs. There are jokes in this that I've seen before, like trying to hide in the shower so someone doesn't see who you're with, or children talking about subject material they are way too young to be talking about, but it just does them well, and I think that's the phrase that best describes this movie. It does have a lot of cliches, even cliches that I hate, but it does them well. It has the single parent cliche, but I do like that it's a single father, and the only people who can get to help raise his daughter are his father George Carlin and his friends. There's the awkward meet cute between Ollie and love interest Maya Harding, played by Liv Tyler, but the two have good chemistry and it allows their relationship to progress naturally, so even that cliche works. They have the parent is reprimanded for wanting to make a better life for his family, but they don't want it because then they would have to move and not see their friends and family often. Normally, I fucking hate that cliche because it basically says that the parent has to not only give up on their dreams, but that the parent trying to actually improve their livelihood is a bad thing. In here, I should hate it more because not only are they still living with his father despite him being in his 30s, and Ollie is the only one pointing out that they should have moved out by now, but they would be moving from New Jersey to New York City. Yeah, you wouldn't get to see them every day, but it's not that far. You could probably go back every weekend if you wanted to. All these cliches I don't like, but I'm mostly okay with them here because I've seen how close all these characters are. I understand why they would hate not seeing his father or Maya every day. The acting's good too. This came out in that time right after Geely, so it was just popular to hate Ben Affleck, but he's really good, and the chemistry between him and his daughter is really strong.
Can we go see Cats?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because Cats was the second worst thing that ever happened in New York City. Besides, Cats closed 3 years ago.
We never do anything cool.
Oh, you're riding in the Batmobile, aren't you? How cool is that?
Oh my god.
Look, no one's more depressed than me that driving the street sweeper is considered the height of excitement in my life. I used to live in New York City. I could have gone to see Cats 3 times a day.
No one ever asked for anything.
Oh, and the Oscar goes to Gertie Trinke for her performance and laying it on thick for my old man.
And of course, coming out a year after Geely, some might have been scared due to the fact that Affleck and Jennifer Lopez play a married couple, but she dies about 10 minutes in and the two have much better chemistry in this. It's a pretty well made movie too. It was Smith's most expensive film and he certainly put a lot of work into making it look as professional as possible. Although I will say the editing is a bit off. For one, it really likes its fades. Like really likes its fades. There are so many fade outs it's almost comical. And the music, or at least the way it's implemented, can be a little distracting. Like when a nurse is telling Ollie that his wife died, the dialogue fades out and this lame piano ballads start playing. It takes away from the emotion. The only other big problem I had was that Ollie was too unlikable at the beginning. The time between his wife's death and him being fired, he is so despicable to the point of stupidity. He keeps pushing the baby off on his father, and when his father cannot watch her because he has to go to his job that is much more dangerous for a baby than Ollie's job, he decides to take the baby to work with him. Why doesn't he get a babysitter? And also, didn't Gertie have parents? Can't they look after her for a while? But besides those, I don't really have any issues with the movie. There's not much I would call great, although there is one scene that was so well done that it actually made my jaw drop. I won't spoil it, but let's just say it takes place after Ollie mentions he got a job interview and it's between him and his daughter. The only reason I could think people didn't really care for it back when it came out is that it does have a lot of cliches. It does actually feel like something that would have come out in like 98 or 99 instead of 2004, but I think it just did it well. Hell, it even has a race to a school performance scene and I was actually invested. And it's just a sweet movie. There's a part with Ollie Holly's dad that's even more heartfelt now after the passing of George Carlin. I really like this movie and I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It does have a lot of cliches, but besides that, this is a really sweet, funny, heartwarming movie that just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But since it didn't do so well, Smith decided to return to the View Askew universe at least one more time and make an official sequel to his first film. How did that turn out? We'll find out tomorrow. See you then.